Today on Tanaka Homestead, I'm going to give you a tour of my fall garden. All right, here she is. Quite a few young plants here, but so far everything's looking pretty good with the exception of some minor insect damage that I have to address tonight. But with all the rain, it's been kind of difficult to do that. Let's start with row 1 here. We have celery. Everything's looking pretty good, nice and full. No insect damage here. We have cauliflower in the second raised bed. And then we have some Chinese broccoli. I actually transplanted this from the 3rd row because I had so many that looked good. I didn't want to waste it. I have Copenhagen cabbage in the back, and then I have some more celery. My kids absolutely love Chinese broccoli, so you can see I planted some more. I have daikon radish here, and actually quite a bit of these look like they're ready. Let's see here. See how they're coming up out of the ground there? That's a good sign. That means you can pull them. Over here, I have more Chinese broccoli, and then I have some carrots here. Still have quite a bit of growing to do, but they all look pretty good. Now, as far as this Chinese broccoli, I mean, I can start pulling these whenever I want. You can see there's some insect damage there, but this weather's been awful, and it's just been hard for me to address it. Coming over to this 3rd row now, I have my Chinese cabbage in the middle, and I have my Chinese broccoli on either side. You can see that there's different sizes here, but I planted them at different times. Not a big deal. That's actually what you want to do because you want to be able to pull all season. In the back, I have different types of lettuce. I have romaine, the back 2 rows, and I have black-seeded Simpson lettuce up here. I have Swiss chard, and they have some herbs. This lemongrass is out of control. I'm going to have to do something with this. It just really likes the area. It will. The lemongrass will definitely grow. I have some collards right here. I have some Chinese cabbage, specifically the emikos, which is actually the name of my middle daughter. So that's kind of neat. They look beautiful. Not quite as pretty as my little girl, but they really do look delicious. So I'm going to start pulling these. I have strawberries that I planted not too long ago, so they still have a lot of growing to do. In my 3 beds here, I have a mix of Texas Legend and Red Creole. You'll notice that some of them are spaced about 3 inches or so, 2 to 3 inches apart, and others are spaced down here in this bed a little further. So these will be more of my bunching onions, and of course when they're spaced further, they'll get much bigger. I have all of my green beans here, my bush beans, and they have been producing like crazy. I mean, that's an understatement. Here's one here. Let's see. Some green beans on there. We actually need to come out here and pull these. But yeah, so you got to keep up with pulling the green beans because they just produce, which is really a good problem. Over here, my grow bags, I have more onions. You can see some are spaced further apart than others. I have more onions, and strawberries in this area. These are going to be my big old onions. So these were planted maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and I can already tell that they've grown. But man, I am so excited to harvest these. But remember, it takes quite some time for these onions to grow. Definitely a process, but it's well worth it. On the other side of my onions is my blueberry patch. And you'll notice some of the leaves are red, but that happens during this time of year. No need to stress about that. You really have to keep up with your garden. I come out every day, but I did have a busy streak, and thankfully my daughter came out. I don't know if you can tell the difference between this and this. Thankfully, the leaves are growing back, but man, I had these nasty caterpillars on here, and they just tore this plant up overnight. If I didn't come out here and address this, I'm telling you, it would have been my patch. So thankfully, my daughter told me about it, and I was able to address it, and it looks like the leaves are growing back, which actually makes me feel a lot better. Right here is my herb garden. You can see I let it go to flower and kind of do what it's doing just to attract pollinators. My husband loves munching on rosemary, So that's always a treat for him. Here is a butterfly garden. You'll see that they tear up, you know, these flowers. And actually, there's a little caterpillar right there. But it's really nice to have this in the garden. And actually, I have another one over there towards my onions. But it's always pleasant seeing butterflies around. So that definitely makes me happy. Here are the onions I planted earlier today. I've really had to fight the rain to get these in the ground, but I had to get them in the ground because I didn't want them to die and go to waste. I've given plenty of these onion plants to family and friends, but I had some left over, and you know, it's real hard for me to waste it. But these are obviously much smaller than the onions you saw previously, but I planted those earlier and they've already had time to grow. So very excited about this. Here's my dragon fruit. You know, the size of this, I mean, it is huge. It doesn't do, the video doesn't do it justice, but I am so eager to eat that. And then we have some more here. And then another dragon fruit. So that is about it. That is my fall garden. Thank you so much for watching my channel. Give me a like, leave a comment, share the video, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Happy gardening. Bye-bye.